Hi, Sean.
I talked to you yesterday.
Good. You are fantastic.
Thank you.
Yes.
A great host. Sean is great. Listen to his show.
Absolutely, 95.5.
One mic. All I need is one mic. That's all I need.
Hey, Shelley Winter Show live, local, topical, and relevant, my friends. I tell you, it is. I am so blessed to come on the air after Eric Von Haessler. I will tell you that, because I get to have the greatest conversations 5 minutes before I go on the air, and they really are fantastic conversations. We've got a lot to talk about. Now, I'm not supposed to do this. The consultants will say, no, there's no reason to give out the phone number to the show if you haven't said anything. And they're right? But in this case, for right now, I'm going to tell you the number to the show, 448-720-0750. 1-800-WSB-TALK. Now, if I have to take the entirety of this show to go back and forth with you guys, I don't mind it, because I think this needs to be a conversation that we have. And it's a conversation to have with everyone, Democrats, Republicans, Independents, everyone, okay? Here's the conversation. Are you a principled person? This is when it comes to voting in politics. Or are you a political person, right? Do you have principles that you stand on, or do you just stand on politics? First of all, let me give you the definition of what a principle is. A principle, a comprehensive and fundamental law, doctrine, or assumption. A rule or code of conduct. Habitual devotion to right principles. Those are the ones. But let's go to the 1A. A comprehensive and fundamental law, doctrine, or assumption. Do you, the listener of the Shelley Winter Show right now, do you, whether you're right or left, do you have a principle that you stand on, or principles, plural, that you stand on? These are the things that are non-negotiable for you. I'm not talking about religion. I'm not talking about morals. I'm talking about political principles that you would stand on. For instance, I'll tell you what mine are. Right? I am for small, limited government. That's what I like. That's what that's what I stand on. So you'll hear me say things like, I don't agree with roadblocks, because a roadblock is not small, limited government. That's government, and it's a police state. And I don't agree with it. I never have. Just blocking off a street and stopping every car and asking for paperwork before you've even committed a crime. I don't agree with that. That's a principle of mine. Because it's not small or limited government. It's big government at the municipal level. There are other principles I have. I have a principle of not spending more than you take in. That's a principle of mine. I don't like it. I have a principle for my foreign intervention. If there are people dying and being killed, innocents, then you step in. But you don't step in just to step in because you want to take over that country. That's a principle. I don't agree with that. I'm not a non-interventionist, but I'm also not we're the world's police and we need to fight everybody's battles, which includes giving money. That's my principle. Another principle of mine is I don't mind giving countries foreign aid if it's to help the people there. But if you're just feeding a government, a dictator, or anybody at the head of government, just feeding them my tax dollars, I don't want it. It's a principle of mine. And the question that I have to ask everyone, Democrats and Republicans, is what's your principle? Do you have anything that you stand on besides, I saw these No Kings marches this weekend. I can tell you every single person there, they don't have a principle. They just don't like Trump. That's their principle. We hate Trump. And on the other side, I'm seeing people that have principles that have all gone out the window, and their principle is, I love Trump. That's it. That's it. Doesn't matter. Nothing else matters. I love him. He's doing it. I support it. Even if it's something you did not support 2 years ago, a year ago, or 6 months ago. Friday, I gave you a perfect example. During the election of 2024, many of us went to the polls to vote for Donald Trump because one of the reasons, one of the principles, I guess you was a principle at the time. For me, it was one of the principles. Hey, I don't want billions of dollars going to foreign countries. Bring him home. I got people living under bridges. I got veterans who are dying in the streets. We need to shore up. We need to take care of our own before we send billions of dollars to a foreign country. And Donald Trump spoke about that on a campaign trail. And many of us defended it. And we said, yes, he's right. We don't need it. Yeah, bring the money home. And then a week ago, we sent $80 billion to Argentina. And now everyone who had the no foreign aid principle now says, it's okay, we want to keep them from China or whatever other reason we come up with. It's not a principle anymore. It's politics. And what I'm starting tonight's show is, who are you? Do you stand on principle? Like a Massey, like a Paul, like a Green, like a Fetterman? Is it about principle for you, or is it about politics? Because if it's about politics, understand from my standpoint, it's very dangerous. If your principle has become, I hate Trump and everything he does, that's dangerous. Because then you'll allow your side to do whatever it wants to when it gets into power, because all you're interested in is getting rid of him. And vice versa, same thing. If your principle is not about the Constitution, it's not about overreach, it's not about any kind of principle that you may have had over the course of your own political life or voting life, if it's not about that, it's just about I love Trump, then that's just as dangerous. Because now you're going to be taken advantage of. Because you don't care what people do as long as it's being done by the guy I like. Because what's going to happen is you're going to get people in office because the guy you like can't run again. So you're going to get people in office that are going to do some of the same things. It's going to go against your principle, and it won't be him. So where do you stand then? You can't say you don't like it because you loved it, but your principle was I love Trump or I hate Trump. And for people like myself and millions and millions and millions of others, you know what happens? We get screwed. Because neither one of you guys have any principles to stand on. I don't mind my Democrat friends who believe in their heart of hearts that the government is supposed to be there to take care of those in need. I don't mind them because they have a principle that they stand on. And I don't mind my friends who are on the right who say, no, that's not the government's role, because they have a principle to stand on. But it's when those people on either side start to do things that are different than what they saw before, what they believed before. Now everything's all screwy, and I can't determine. And people like me get knocked out of the box because no one's standing on principle. They're all standing on politics. And the only people that win in that scenario are the people in charge. Because one way or the other, they all get the power back, even if they're down for an election cycle. Because none of us have any principles. So the parties get elected time and time again. Time and time again. They go back into power, they lose power, they go back into power. And nobody wins except for them. We don't win because we never will get anything that we really want. You know why? Because we don't know how to articulate what we really want. You know why? Because we have no principles. We only have our politics. And they're banking on that. They're banking on the fact that you will allow people in the middle of the ocean to be bombed by a government. You say, yeah. So when the Democrats get in office and they bomb someone else, you'll say, what happened? Because you have no principle. There's nothing for you to stand on that says this is right or this is wrong. Because you have no principle. It's just politics. And your politics can be drilled down to one thing or the other. Either you love Trump or you hate Trump. I got called so many names based on some segments that I posted on Facebook by Trump supporters. One guy called me a turncoat, because I dared to disagree. Now I'm a turncoat. That's dangerous. So now no one can disagree? And those who do are called out their names? Even if you voted for the guy? You can't disagree? That's dangerous. And on the other side, I've always been called names by them. But they have no principles either. Because they're not arguing with me on the policy. They're arguing with me because they hate Trump. That's it. It's not a principle. It's an emotion. Loving him or hating him, it's an emotion. defending everything he does, attacking everything he does. It's not a policy. It's not a principle. It's politics. It's an emotion. That's all it is. Feel free, if you want to engage me this evening about that, let me know. 448-720-0750, 1-800-WSB-TALK. But you must answer the question that when you call in, you must answer the basic question first. What are your principles versus what are your politics? Because I'd rather all of my friends have principles that they stand on. We can disagree, and we can go back and forth on a principle. But if your hatred or love is all about I hate Trump or I love Trump, then there's really nothing to discuss. And that's really no fun anymore. 448-720-0750, 1-800-WSB-TALK, Shelley Winter Show. We will be right back. We're also going to come back. I got to tell you what I did this Saturday. The most amazing homecoming I've ever been to. I can't believe it's taken me this long to go to the Morehouse Spelman homecoming for the first time in my life. Really. At this age, I've never been before. Even all those single man years that I had, I could have been fishing in a barrel for 20 years. We'll be right back. It's Shelley Winter Show.